important topic, a topic that needs lots of attention in our society, in the society that we live in, actually throughout the world now, whether back home or here. This is a very aham and very important topic, and that is birrul walidain. Birrul walidain, kindness towards the parents. Wasilatul arham, and good treatment of the relatives. So when this topic we discussed that inshallah we're going to speak about this, then a few books came to my mind which address this topic, and one of these books is Riyadh al-Salihin. Riyadh al-Salihin is a collection of hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, which were compiled by a great imam known as the Qutb al-Ulama of his time, the leader of the ulama of his time, Imam al-Nawawi. Rahmatullah alayhi. Imam Nawawi was a great imam, and the thing about Riyadh al-Salihin, that even though alhamdulillah it is an authentic kitab of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that it is accepted even by the other sects. Even the other groups within Islam, they submit and they have no other choice but to say that alhamdulillah Riyadh al-Salihin is an authentic kitab. So Riyadh al-Salihin, it is divided into different chapters, and each chapter has a heading called a bab. In Arabic they say bab, bab. These are known as chapters. So Imam al-Nawawi, he dedicates a chapter to birrul walidain. He says babu birrul walidaini wa silatul arham. This is chapter 40 in volume 1, and this book can be borrowed from our library. I took it from our library, mashallah. Very important book for us to learn and to read from and to teach, inshallah. And birrul walidain means benevolence towards parents, kindness towards parents. Wasilatul arham means, sila is connecting. The word wasala means to connect yourself. Arham, the literal meaning of arham is the plural form of rahim. Rahim means the womb of the mother, in which the child is born from, the womb, and in which the child is being taken care of for 9 months or so. This is the womb of the mother. The Arabic word for womb is rahim. The plural of that is arham. So wasilatul arham, maintaining ties with the wombs of the, meaning maintaining ties with your relatives, to make sure that you have good relation with the relatives. So each bab in this book, each chapter starts with verses of the Quran. So Imam al-Nawawi rahimahullah, he first mentions verses of the Quran pertaining to the topic, and then he mentions the ahadith. And alhamdulillah, the translation in English is available and has been available for, mashallah, many years now. So let's look at some of the verses of the Quran about birrul walidain, about kindness towards the parents. We look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to treat our parents. قال الله تعالى أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم واعبدوا الله ولا تشركوا به شيئا وبالوالدين إحسانا وبذي القربى واليتامى والمساكين والجار ذي القربى والجار الجنب والصاحب بالجنب وابن السبيل وما ملكت أيمانكم. صدق الله العظيم. This is the first verse what Imam al-Nawawi quotes in this book, in this chapter. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands us, worship Allah. All of you worship Allah. وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. And do not join any partners with Him. Do not do any shirk. Right after these two commandments, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions the parents. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And show kindness unto your parents. So the ulama, they say, kindness towards parents is so great because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right after mentioning His ibadah and mentioning not doing shirk, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings the kindness towards parents. Birrul walidain, right there. So this shows us because there's an order. There's going to be other things Allah mentions as well. Show kindness towards parents, then towards this group, towards this group. But the first group that Allah mentioned is the parents. Meaning this is where the kindness starts. The thing within our society is, if we look at our home, and I'm not talking about anyone in particular, generally speaking, Muslim or non-Muslim. In our homes, because we think that no one is watching. The kindness towards parents is the last thing that we do. We start on the outside. We start on the outside. When we go to outside, when we go to the masjid, when we go to our different gatherings, mashallah, we have a different appearance, we have a different way of living. When it comes to our own parents, in our own household, it's a different act. This is the reality, right? This is the human nature. Because when you go outside, people are watching you. So you want to act the best way you can act. Right? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing us the order. Start with your own home. Start with your walidain. If you cannot be kind towards the walidain, how are you going to be kind towards other people? That is just going to be a show. Because you're going outside and putting on a show for people. Start in the place which is closest to you, which is your own home. وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى, and towards your relatives, your close relatives. Qurba are your close relatives. Now, for example, your cousins, your grandparents, your uncles, who are the brothers and sisters, your aunts from your mom's side, your aunts from your dad's side. These are the qarabat, these are the close relatives now. Okay? So this is the second category. وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى وَالْيَتَامَى, and orphans. Be kind towards the orphans. This is something also we lack in society, because our society tends to block off such people in society and give them and isolate them. Back home, in a certain time, you had orphanages, and you still do. Yatim khane. And they were on the street. You would pass them by, and you could go there, and you could, meet the orphans, be kind towards them, talk to them. You can fulfill the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ of taking care of the orphans. Nowadays in our society, you have to make a trip. If you want to go to the orphanage, you have to make a special trip, make a special effort, make a special appointment to do this, right? So there's more effort required. This is one of the tests of our society. وَالْيَتَامَى وَالْمَسَاكِينَ, and the needy people. Be kind towards the needy, masakin, those people who are poor. وَالْجَارِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى, and unto the neighbors who is of kin unto you. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to mention different types of neighbors here. The first one, وَالْجَارِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى, the neighbor who is a relative as well. They have more haqq over a neighbor who is not a relative. وَالْجَارِ ذِي الْقُرْبَى, then وَالْجَارِ الْجُنُبِ, and the neighbor who is close to you, but not of kin. So always the tie, the relation, the blood relation, and the tie of kinship, they have more haqq in terms of showing kindness and showing goodness towards them. It starts with the walidain, then the nearest to relatives and so forth. So they have more haqq. So the neighbors, even if you have neighbors who are your relatives, they have more haqq than neighbors who are not relatives. وَالصَّاحِبِ بِالْجَنْبِ, and the fellow traveler. That means a person who is traveling with you. A person who travels with you, you go on a journey together, be kind towards them as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says. وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ, and the wayfarer. So if you're traveling and you find that a person comes by and passes you by on the journey, or you're staying somewhere and a person is traveling and passing you by, be kind towards them as well. Right? Because if you're a traveler, you want to be treated well, you should also treat the traveler, the passerby as well. وَمَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُكُمْ, and the slaves whom your right hand possesses. This is specific to the time of the Prophet ﷺ, where they had slaves and when they had this category of slave men and slave girls who were possessed, who were sometimes prisoners of war, and they were taken and they were given different tasks within the home. But this doesn't apply to our society, but it's specific towards the society in which the Prophet ﷺ was and in which this verse was revealed. But the rest, besides this category, the rest of them still exist. And we have to show kindness towards them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ الَّذِي تَسَاءَلُونَ بِهِ وَالْأَرْحَامِ. In another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, be careful, وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ, and fear Allah, in whom you claim your rights of one another, and towards the wombs that bore you. Meaning that your blood relations, your parents especially, be careful and have taqwa of Allah regarding them. In another verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالَّذِينَ يَصِلُونَ مَا أَمَرَ اللَّهُ بِهِ أَن يُوصَلَ. Part of a verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, such as unite that which Allah has commanded should be joined. Meaning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse praises those people. وَالَّذِينَ يَصِلُونَ. They join the ties towards those people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to join ties. Our relatives, our parents, those people who are close to us, who are in relation to us. And then the verse that Hafiz recited, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ, and your Lord has decreed that you worship none except Him. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا, and that you show kindness towards parents. So right after worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah is bringing kindness towards parents. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continues, إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِنْدَكَ الْكِبَرَ أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if one of your parents, or both of them, أَحَدُهُمَا أَوْ كِلَاهُمَا إِمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ, they become old. They reach an old age. وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. Then do not say even uff to them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does that mean? Uff means do not say anything to them that would break their heart. Do not say anything to them that would be like you're answering back to them. Do not say anything to them that feels like you are insulting them. Do not say anything to them that feels that you think you're better than them. You know, this is another problem in society. Let's relate this verse to our society. Look how people, they treat their parents. Some of them, they call their parents with their first name. This is the trend. Hey Bob, hey Mary. What is this? I mean, you are, and they like it. They say, call me by my first name. Right? This is going to be like you're my friend. Right? But does it really increase friendship? No. Because when the child is being taught to treat them like a friend, then what kind of obedience and what kind of respect is remaining there? There has to be a line between friendship and respect. Right? And those lines shouldn't be blurred. But when you say this and you give the children this type of teaching, that you know we're the same, or that you can call me by my first name, right? That you can make jokes with me in vulgar ways, then you're setting yourself up for a disaster. You're not giving them the right tarbiyah, and you're not going to gain respect from them. But rather, we have to respect our parents. Look at how the Prophet ﷺ taught us to address the mother, how he taught us to address the father, right, in the best of ways, right? When they would call you, even if you're in salah, the Prophet ﷺ said, if you're performing salah and your mother calls you, you leave the salah and listen to what the mother has to say, and then after you do your salah again. SubhanAllah, because you don't know that in that time, if your parent needs you, it's very important, right? So this is the teaching, that right after the worshipping of Allah and the Tawheed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is mentioning kindness towards parents. فَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. So uff has all these meanings that I mentioned. Do not make them feel that they are a burden upon you. This is another thing. Never ever let your parents feel that they are dependent on you, astaghfirullah. This is the worst thing you can do. Especially when they get old. Don't think that, oh, I'm taking care of my parents, I'm doing ihsan on them. No. Remember that how they treated you when you were young, and their ihsan upon you. And remember that one sahabi, he asked the Prophet ﷺ, he carried his mother on his back and he went for Hajj. And he would carry his mother on his own back and he took her for Hajj, and then he asked the Prophet ﷺ, have I fulfilled the haqq of my parent? Have I fulfilled by doing this? Have I fulfilled the right of my parent? The Prophet ﷺ said, you haven't even fulfilled or given equal to the that your mother, that pain that she felt when she was pregnant with you, when she was carrying you in her womb for that many months, and when she said meaning that there was a time where she felt some pain or discomfort, you haven't even fulfilled that right, that haqq. Right? So never feel that we're doing something, but rather, if Allah gives you a chance to serve your parents, this is Allah's love for you, that He's giving you tawfiq to do that. How many people are deprived of this? How many people in society, when they get old, then they send their parents to old age homes? How many people, they don't want to live with their parents? Right? They isolate them. This is actually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is setting them up for a torment in the akhirah, for a punishment in the akhirah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, when you are living and serving your parents, there's rahmah, there's mercy for you, there's barakah. You get blessing. Why? Because they make dua for you. That's another thing. The dua of the walidain is the key to success. Every big wali, every big saint has served their parents and has gotten the dua of their parents. Because of that dua of their parents, then they go on to meet other awliya Allah, they go on to meet other mashayikh and sit with the salihin. But if you ask these awliya Allah, how did your journey start? They would say, the dua of my parents. Look at Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, Qaddasallahu sallallahu Awthul A'adham, for example. What did his mother say? When she sent him to learn ilm and sent him off to Baghdad Sharif, she gave him advice and she gave him dua. She said, my dear son, never lie, always speak the truth. Right? Look at the advice of the mother, and look at how he listened to the advice of his mother, and he got the dua of his mother. That he became such a big wali and the oath of his time, radiallahu anhu, and that how many people until now are receiving and learning from his teachings and from his blessings, radiallahu anhu, and mentioning him. It starts with the home. First of all, how the parents make the environment of the home. Yeah, the parents also have responsibility, right, to create the environment, Islamic environment of the home. To teach the children, especially until they reach the age of puberty, about Islam, about the rulings of Islam, about the fiqh, about the Quran, about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, about akhlaq and so forth, until a certain age, and then it becomes the responsibility of the child now to listen to what the teachings of the parents were and to act upon those teachings now. Right? So there's a responsibility, there's huquq of the parents, there's huquq of the children. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in this verse, وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, do not repulse them. وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا. Do not annoy your parents. Do not make them annoyed or angry or frustrated. وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. But speak with them with a gracious word, meaning kindly. Speak to them gently and kindly and graciously and honorably. This is the way we should speak to them. وَاخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ. And lower unto them the wing of submission through mercy. What does this mean? That if you have a wing, for example, an angel or a bird has wings, when they lower the wing, this means you're submitting, or you're showing mercy, humility. You're being humble. So lower your wing, meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, show humility towards them. Be humble. Always think that they are better than you, and always know that it is their ihsan upon us and not that we are doing them any favor. But rather Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us by putting us in their care. وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلٌ كَرِيمًا وَاخْفِضْ لَهُمَا جَنَاحَ الذُّلِّ مِنَ الرَّحْمَةِ وَقُلْ رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, make dua for them. And what dua should you make? رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا, my Lord, have mercy upon both my parents. Subhanallah, beautiful dua. We should all, every day we should recite this. Every day, after every salah, inshallah. رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. That, oh my Lord, have mercy upon my two parents, كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا, just as they cared for me when I was a young child. Because when you're a young child, what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is taking care of you, of course. He is the creator, He is the protector. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He has given you parents, He has given you a means to take care of you. Right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control. But who's the one who feeds you? Allah feeds you, but He feeds you through the parents. The parent is the one who is giving you, for example, when you're born, the mother is giving you the milk, right? And then when you get older, then they feed you with food and so forth. They clothe you, they clean you, they sacrifice their nights and days when you're crying and when you're in pain. They cannot bear it. All these things Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala now says it's a duty upon you now. When you have reached the age where you have enough intellect now you have to understand those favors. Now say, رَبِّ ارْحَمْهُمَا كَمَا رَبَّيَانِي صَغِيرًا. Allah commands, make dua to me that I have mercy upon them, just like they had mercy upon me, and they raised me when I was just a little child. Alhamdulillah. And then the Imam, he mentioned some ahadith of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. وعن أبي عبد الرحمن عبد الله بن مسعود رضي الله عنه قال سألت النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أي العمل أحب إلى الله تعالى. Subhanallah. Hazrat Abdullah bin Mas'ud, who was one of the scholars amongst the Sahaba. There are 4 Ibadullah. Their names were Abdullah. That they were known to be very learned ulama amongst the Sahaba and fuqaha, people who had knowledge and understanding of the deen. Hazrat Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiallahu anh, Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar, radiallahu anh, Hazrat Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, radiallahu anh, and Hazrat Abdullah bin Zubayr. These are the 4 Abdullahs. You should memorize their names. You'll see many of the ahadith are narrated by them, and you'll see that they were amongst the learned of the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajmain. So he is narrating, and he said that I asked the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, سألت النبي, I asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, أي العمل أحب إلى الله تعالى. Subhanallah. Look at their questions. Their aspirations were high. You know, our questions sometimes not so high, but we should look at how they used to ask, Ya Rasulullah, which action is most beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You know? قال الصلاة على وقتها. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam first, he said, performing the salah on time. Number 2, قلت ثم أي. Then I said, what after that, Ya Rasulullah? قال بر الوالدين. The second thing the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, good treatment of your parents, being kind towards your parents. So the importance of that. The second thing the Prophet said right after salah, he mentions بر الوالدين. قلت ثم أي. I said, what after that? قال, he said sallallahu alaihi wasallam, الجهاد في سبيل الله. He said, fighting or struggling in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Bukhari and Muslim, muttafaqun alayh. In another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, وعنه, and Hazrat Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, he relates, another great companion of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, who most of the ahadith, the biggest number is narrated by Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. وعنه رضي الله عنه قال جاء رجل إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال يا رسول الله من أحق الناس بحسن صحابتي. So Hazrat Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه relates that a man came to the Prophet صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم and he said, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah, which person of all people is best entitled to kind treatment and the good companionship from me? So out of all the people, who has more haqq, Ya Rasulullah, that I should treat them well and I should be good companion to them? قَالَ أُمُّكَ. The Prophet ﷺ said, your mother. قَالَ ثُمَّ مَنْ. The man then asked, and then? قَالَ, he said, أُمُّكَ, your mother. قَالَ ثُمَّ مَنْ. And then he said, again the man asked, who after that? قال, the Prophet ﷺ said, أمك, your mother. قال, then he said again, the man, ثم من, who after that, قال, أبوك, your father. متفق عليه. Again, this is related by Imam Bukhari or Muslim. So the Prophet ﷺ is teaching us the value of the the value of the mother, and the value of the father. This doesn't mean that, okay, the is, you just focus on the mother and leave the father. No. The Prophet ﷺ is teaching you, because the and the mother, because of the hardships that they go through in raising you. There's a certain level of hardship that they go through that the Prophet ﷺ mentions them 3 times. They have a certain darajah. But at the same time, the father also has a darajah. Because anything that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, he did not mention just like that. وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ. The Prophet ﷺ doesn't speak out of his own accord. إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا وَحْيٌ يُوحَىٰ. It is an inspiration, wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if the Prophet ﷺ is saying 3 times ummuka, then this is indeed what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants him to say. And the 4th time the Prophet ﷺ said abuka.